Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Kinprint. For all your company's promotional needs, they do it all. Apparel, promotional products, using the highest quality brands. They do logo design, signage, and printing. Kinprint will promote your brand with excellence. Visit kinprint.ca.
Let's set sail, Oilers fans, on a journey. 6-1. The Oilers take down the once mighty Penguins, but they're no longer mighty. Let's be clear with that. Welcome to Got Your Back Podcast. I'm Jason Strudwick. It's great to be a part of the show again. Brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC. They're the number one GMC dealership in all of Canada, 6 years running. Buy a new or used vehicle and mention the guys that Got Your Back Podcast sent you, and you'll not only receive specialized pricing as a bonus, you'll also get 3 free ultimate detail packages on a new or used vehicle. Visit our good buddy Phil and the crew in Sherwood Park or online at www.gmcpod.com. As I mentioned, the Oilers win 6-1, 4 wins in a row. They're now finding themselves 3 points up on the mighty Vegas Golden Knights and only 9 points back of Canucks. This show is brought to you in the Longshot studio. All game days are all happy day hour specials, $5 long shots lager, and the redesigned Strudwick long shot studio. You can see I put another picture up in the back. I know people have been clamoring to see more of my personality, and that's what they get. Let's welcome in our main man, Gager, joined us tonight. Joaquin Gage, Ryan Rashaga is off on special assignment. So Gager, great to have you along here today to have another true professional with me. It's been difficult with just Shager and Brownie recently.
I bet, Struddy. It's great to see you. You looked fantastic on the tube tonight. I know it's not what is it, 2.5 hours in the makeup chair there, but you looked really good. I love the comments. I mean, you're not working with much on the panel, I know, but good job, buddy. I like it.
Right. No, I know what it's like here, right? When I'm working with Brownie and Shager, I'm just trying to lift these guys up in the air and make them great. And we're joined by Rob Brown on the phone as he drives home from what was a pretty rocking building tonight there, Brownie, with a 6-1 win for the Oilers over the Pens.
Yeah, it was a happy crowd. Happy when they scored 6 times, and the battle of the greats between Crosby and McDavid was handily won by Connor McDavid and his teammates. No, it's a good time to be an Oiler fan right now. Everything seems to be going right from top to bottom. Goaltending, all the decisions made by the coaching staff are turning out. It was a good night at Rogers, and the Edmonton Oilers continue their little winning streak. They're playing good hockey right now, Struds, and it's fun to watch.
Low event in their own zone. I think that's what we all want to see. And let's get to our breakdown. Brought to you by Mr. Dirk, the iconic men's clothing store in Edmonton. Founded in 1939, just off White Avenue and 102 Street. Mr. Dirk, formerly Dirks, has everything you need for every aspect of your wardrobe. Casual clothes like jeans, pants, shirts, sweaters, shoes, and on the formal side, an amazing selection of brand name suits, sports coats, and ties. They take Shager up to a 7, so they know what they're doing. They can do customs and they have in-house tailoring. Visit MrDirk.com. All right, guys, let's get to breaking down this 6-1 win for the Oilers, their 4th in a row over the Pens. And Gage, I'll start with you. That looked like a very tired, disinterested Pittsburgh Penguins group. So how much credit do you give the Oilers for really making this a very one-sided affair tonight?
Well, I didn't know it was going to be this type of game until probably about the second period. I was more focused on the Oilers start, right? And for the first time, I could say probably in 20 games, it was a really good start. And against a team that obviously played late last night, got in late, an older team, struggling at the moment. Those are the types of games where, I mean, you two guys know this more than anyone, especially Brownie, going up to Kamloops as a young kid into the old War Memorial and just getting feasted on for the first period. It was awful going into Kamloops back in the day. The Oilers established themselves as one of those teams that are hard to play against at home. I liked it, and just made it so that the Penguins just were not interested at all. And by, I would say by the middle of the second, they were just waiting to get back on that plane and go home.
Brownie, you look at this group. Yeah, go ahead, Brownie.
No, I agree with Gager. It was a disinterested Penguin team. And I think part of it was the way the Oilers came out and played tonight. Against Seattle yesterday, there were times where the Seattle Kraken were the better team, and the Oilers just had the better goaltender. In the game today, it was low event, and the Oilers were forcing the Penguins to play hard to earn a chance. If the Oilers would have played a high event game, well, the Penguins got some skilled players that would have had a little more fun if you're trading chances, but the Oilers didn't. They forced the Penguins to work for every inch on the ice. They forced them to create. They didn't have the turnovers in the neutral zone that gave a short ice for the Penguins to counterattack against. And when Corey Perry scored the game's second goal on a terrible pinch by Joseph of the Penguins, all of a sudden a Penguin team that's tired, that's offensively challenged, looks up at the scoreboard and says, okay, now we've got to score 3 goals, which we're not very good at doing to start with, and we have to open up and play the style that Edmonton likes to play. That's when I believe they got disinterested. When Pickard made the save on Sidney Crosby that could have tied the game, 20 seconds later it's in the back of their net. I think that was the end of the game where the Penguins lost interest, lost energy, and from then on, it was just the Edmonton Oilers hockey game.
I love that you bring that up. And I just quickly, the way that this back-to-back set up for the Oilers, it's a dream. I loved afternoon games when I played. I loved them. So you play an afternoon game in Seattle. So that means no morning skate, which, they're nice to go down there and, maybe stretch out a little bit and make it look like you're busy by doing a couple one-arm push-ups, but they don't always accomplish a lot. So now you get up, you play in Seattle, and then you get the win. And as you said, Brownie, it wasn't the best, game, but they got the 2 points. Then you get on a flight, you have a nice meal, right? So let's say you're on the flight by, I'm going to call it 6 o'clock, whatever it is, 7, let's call it 7. Then that's 8 o'clock M10, but you're home by, it's got 9 or 10, even with the late. I'm probably going over, but that's not earlier or later than your normal time of going to bed. Kind of roll in, you go to bed, you have a nice sleep, you get up this morning. I doubt there's a morning skate this morning, and then you rest. The other side, you got the Flames, or the Penguins down with the Flames. They have the 8 o'clock start. Then they got to go through the whole situation with the retirement of Mikko Kiprusoff number. And then you get out of that time, you got to drive to the airport in Calgary, get on the plane, fly the 30, 40 minutes, whatever it is here, then drive in again, get set into your hotel. I believe, guys, this was, if not a scheduled loss for the Pittsburgh Penguins, it was a challenging one that they didn't make no favors for for them at all. Now, you mentioned Calvin Pickard, and I thought there's a couple key points. One was that save on Crosby, which was a good one, Gager. The other one was the breakaway, the penalty shot, which I do think was a penalty shot by Harkins. But, I don't know. I thought Harkins kind of had his shot, missed the net, but I thought Calvin looked very big in that moment. Sometimes you see a goalie shrink at that time, Gager.
Well, this is where I realize you guys are brilliant, because I wrote this down, exactly what you guys had just mentioned. So you guys are doing a great job this evening. But it was Pickard, that save, unbelievable save on Sidney Crosby. That game, probably the complexion changes at that point if the Penguins can get within one, and like Brownie said, it's all of a sudden it's 3-0 and the game's over. But no, the penalty shot, perfect positioning, Struddy, and almost like you can tell when a goalie's confident when he's almost baiting guys to shoot in certain places. Like you saw him, he did. He basically put one knee down to kind of cover up the 5-hole and go, are you going to shoot wide or keep going to the other side? And he just basically outweighted him, gave him nothing. And that's got to be, I don't know. I mean, you've been on breakaways before, Struddy, to sure. Enormous success. Like, what does it feel like if you miss if you miss the net?
It doesn't feel good. Brownie, your thoughts on Harkins' approach to that penalty shot?
Well, I believe, especially for guys that are non-goal scorers, that aren't, known for, scoring 30, 40 in a year, it's easier to score on a breakaway when you're being chased than it is to score on a penalty shot. So I think for but it is though.
Yeah.
For Kulak to take the penalty was good because Harkins is if he's on a breakaway, he's not thinking about what move to do. He's trying to stay ahead of the guy behind him. He's focused. So he's focused, and then all of a sudden it becomes instinct. When he gets by the net, he just instinctually does something. And that's why you'll see so many times when a player scores on a breakaway, as he's leaving the ice or on the bench, he's looking at the jumbotron. He's like, okay, what did I just do there? But when you are a guy that now you're going to center ice, it's a big moment in the game. You're dead tired because you just had to skate the length of the ice. Now you're going to do it again. He's dead tired. Now you have all the time to think. And now, okay, do I want to do this move? Okay, do I do that? Now you're inside your own head. So I think that Kulak taking the penalty was good, gave Harkins a lot to think. And then on the move, he came in. Pickard didn't bite. He came in and he said he wanted to come across, thinking Pickard would come across faster. He didn't. And then when he shot, he was trying to miss the goalie. And when he missed the goalie, he missed the net, which means Calvin Pickard was in the right spot angle-wise. And it was it wasn't a shot on net. It wasn't a save. But Pickard's angle and Pickard being where he was forced Harkins to go wide. And all of a sudden, any momentum that the Penguins could have had was gone. So Calvin Pickard gets credit for that.
It was great. And he had a really good night. Let's get to our Weiss Johnson Heating Air digital quote. With 45 years in the business, you should need a new furnace, garage heater, air conditioner, hot water tank, or any of these things service. Weiss Johnson is the place to go. They're Edmonton's #1 choice for heating, air conditioning, and plumber services. Visit weissjohnson.com. And let's get to head coach. Oh, sorry, jingle. God, I'm sorry, guys. I missed the jingle. -1 already.
I just hammered it in there. So
I know. Thank you. Let's get to it's Chris Knobloch talking about what makes Calvin Pickard such a good backup for the Oilers.
The most important part is he's good at stopping the puck. Another one is he's a great team guy. Guys love him. He puts in extra work at practice, stays out a little bit later. And also as a backup goalie, it is also harder. You often get, sometimes you get the weaker opponent, but often what gets unrecognized is you often get the back-to-back game. You get the second game, which the team isn't going to play as well in front of you. You're traveling into a city, and just those harder assignments the backup goalie usually gets. And, he's been able to play really solid, really good for us for a very long stretch.
Yeah, he sure has, and he's solidified that backup position. And just up on that point, and maybe you can jump in on this, Gager, because, he had a few times like this. But I know when I was, maybe not playing or I was that sixth guy, I had to stay out there quite late. But that backup goalie, the good ones, would stay out till the last guy left. And because they were going to take shots, because they knew the guys wanted to shoot on them, they're taking the one-timers from the old hash marks. You're just tickling the rafters with your blade. I'd never get a one-timer in my life, but I took a lot of one-timers on backup goalies. So, Gage, maybe speak to what a good backup does and how it feels for a goalie to be in that position.
Well, listening to Coach Nabla, how he talked, it was like hearing how most coaches talked about me, except for one thing: good at stopping the puck. Otherwise, everything else hit dead on. But yeah, it sucks. Struddy, it is terrible because you want to be a good teammate, right? Sure. And I mean, both of you have probably played with goalies that, let's just say, aren't too enthusiastic with Struddy coming down, tickling the rafters, working on his one-timers from the hash marks, basically your breakaway move. But yeah, no, those second games that you get into, and you're thinking, the team's a little bit tired. I'm going to have to play really well. Like all those things you start thinking about. Calvin Pickard has been perfect, and it's difficult, man. When you're off for a certain amount of time and not getting reps on a kind of regular basis, it's very hard to dial that back in. And from what I've seen from him, from his rebound control, like we already talked about his positioning on the breakaway, how perfect it was. This guy's not only putting in the extra work and being a good teammate, but it's constructive work. Like he's keeping his game at a level that's allowing him to be successful in these games too. Very commendable job. I think at times throughout the year, it can be more difficult than a starting goalie just because of maybe it's the situation. You haven't played in a while. You go into a place where you're still kind of fighting for a position in the playoffs, whether it's getting into the playoffs, wild card spot, or home ice advantage, right? So these games mean something down the stretch. Just fantastic job by him.
Brownie, I want to shift gears with you and talk about the offensive part of the game. And, the first goal the Oilers scored today, assisted by Leon and Connor, and obviously the big man, Zach Hyman, scores a deuce tonight. This was his first goal. There is a detail I noticed I think I noticed on that goal as far as Connor's play. Do you think you know what I'm talking about? I don't think you ever made this play yourself, but I think that Connor, I think you meant to do it.
I know what you're going at, and I think you're partially right. Connor McDavid is coming down, and we have seen guys do it a lot in practice, where you try to shoot far pad to bounce it off the pad to the other guy going kind of a rebound goal. You're shooting for a rebound. I believe Connor McDavid's coming down. His first thought is always pass, and he's got your best goal scorer on coming down with him in Zach Hyman. The defenseman made a pretty good play. He didn't allow a pass through. So what I believe McDavid was doing, I think he was trying to score, but he was scoring in a spot that if it doesn't go in, it's going to bounce out to Hyman. He's going kind of like 5-hole, trying to get it 5-hole far side. And we've seen McDavid shoot there many times. He's so quick getting it off that the goaltender isn't quite set, and he puts it in. But McDavid could have gone top shelf, short side, top shelf, far side. But if they don't go in, there's no rebound. But I do believe, I don't think he was particularly just going for a shot rebound. I think he was trying to score, but he understood if it didn't go in, that it would be a rebound right where Zach Hyman was.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I was wondering because it looked to me like it was automatic, but what you're saying makes complete sense. So that was not a fortunate bounce, but a bounce that worked out the Oilers' way. There's two others off the face-off. Draisaitl wins. It goes back to Bouchard. Puck Bouchard pass to Leon, and Leon tries to shoot, goes off the D-man stick right to Zach Hyman for his second goal. Tap it in. Then later on, Leon shoots, and it's funny how it goes off the goalie's pad now, Gager, straight to Connor, and Connor taps it in. So, they were putting pucks to the net, and for that reason, they were getting opportunities. And as a goalie, I'm guessing that's a pretty frustrating night because it's one thing to make the first save. It's another to react to a puck that doesn't even get to you, and now it's somewhere else.
Well, it's not only that. I think this is the first game where I really thought the Oilers had a shot first mentality. Like they were shooting the puck from a lot of different angles, especially in the first period where, there's a lot of deferring, I think that shouldn't be done. I really like Sam Gagner when he does that. He seems to, if there's nothing left, he's just ripping it on net, looking for anything, even a face off or something like that. But you know what? It's not only the shot selection, I think, Struddy, but it's other players going to the net, right? So as a goalie, guy has the puck, you recognize that, okay, we got a wide side guy driving. I got to make sure I do something with this rebound. I don't want to be putting it straight on this guy's stick. And when you have extra guys going there looking for rebounds, it makes it a little bit more difficult for the goalie, knowing that he has to either make sure that puts his rebound in a place where it's not a tap in or trying to cover it up. Right. So that's the first game that I thought they did a much better job, because as a goalie, it sucks when you have constant pressure coming to the net, because you're constantly aware of, geez, if I let one out here, I'm going to have to probably make a second or third save because there's just too many guys.
Yeah, and the way that the Pens
I got a question, Struds.
Okay.
I got a question, Struds, for Gager here. So the last 3 years, I've been harping about this on our shows. Do goaltenders need to change the way they play goalie? When I'm talking about McLeod's goal, it used to be that Connor McDavid would try shooting from below the goal line, and Connor McDavid's the world's best, and he can do it.
No.
But now, guys, third line guys, fourth line guys are trying it all the time with success because it's open. Goaltenders put their shoulder against the post, but the head is off the post, and there's room there. And McLeod shot and scored. His stick was just below the goal line, and he's aiming for that spot. I think, just my opinion, that the goaltenders now have to change the way they defend that, because that is now a goal-scoring spot. When I played, we didn't shoot there. Guys weren't as accurate and couldn't hit the spot. But now, third line, fourth line guys. I've seen Tyson Barrie was doing it when he was here. He's a defenseman. Do the goaltenders and goaltending coaches have to address that because players are so good at it now?
I got it written down right here, Brownie. It's the worst goal ever. Even Oilers score that goal, and it makes me angry that went in. It was funny. I had Ron Lowe on one of my shows the other day. We were talking, and we talked about short side goals. Brownie, you said it. You never shot there. Because it wasn't available. Like,
Right.
I don't understand why goalies go into that kind of reverse VH so early down at that position, right? And yeah, guys are too talented now, and it's an easy goal. I think that's horrible. You should never be able to score from below the goal line on a goal. When we played, maybe it was, Brownie, you probably did it a few times. Struddy, well, maybe by luck, but down below the goal, hitting behind the knee, right? There would be that little that little arch that you could aim at. That was essentially the bank off the melon nowadays, a short side. But it's you can't tell me that was a good goal either. No, something has to change. You can't leave that open, especially to guys the caliber of player like Connor McDavid. I mean, McLeod made it look pretty easy tonight. Horrible goal.
Yeah, very tough. And Connor almost got it, 50, 60 seconds later, almost doubled down. All right, guys, let's jump out of here really quick. When we come back, we're going to get into takeaways, and we're going to talk about the D-pair shuffle. If you don't know what it was, we'll explain who the changes or what the changes were, and I'll tell you why I think they happened. That's next here.
Say goodbye to unruly hair and hello to a smooth and silky back in minutes with Backscape. Shave your back solo with no mess with Backscape's water-resistant long handle and patented 6-blade design, leaving you with a no-mess shaving experience all in less than 5 minutes. Shop now for 40% off select kits just for you, our Got Your Back listeners, and make 2024 your year to elevate your grooming routine.
Time for takeaways, brought to you by Redefine Health. Not just a chiropractor's office, Redefine Health offers so much more. From naturopathic medicine, acupuncture, massage therapy, orthotics, custom rehab programs, and even on-site psychology. Redefine Health truly believes in health. Let them help you get healthy, stay healthy, perform better, and reach your potential. Visit redefinehealth.com. All right, guys, new D pairings today. Ekholm, Bouchard stay the same. They went Nurse and Darnay, then they went CC alongside Kulak. And it seemed to work out all right tonight. Brownie, why do you think they made the switch?
Well, I think there's a few reasons. I think Nurse and CC have had some struggles since the All-Star break. So I think that they want to maybe freshen that up a little bit. I think they want to see what Darnay can do in a shutdown pairing. Can he play extended minutes against the other team's top players? So I think they want to look at that. And then I guess there's also the possibility, okay, we're looking at things at the trade deadline. Can we switch things around? If we have this here, is someone else expendable? So I think all three of those are probably in play when they decide they're going to make the move to change. I think the last time they tried doing this, they did too much by breaking up Bouchard and Ekholm. I don't mind the CC Darnay. It was fine tonight, but again, I mean, it's a game against a tired, bad Pittsburgh team. I think you're going to want to have a couple more looks at it before you make a decision whether it's successful or not. But I completely understand them doing it, and I thought Darnay looked good out there. I think he's improved immensely since last year puck movement. So I didn't mind it. We'll see. Boston will be a much bigger test when they're on the road and the other team can match who they want to play against your defensive pairings. I think that'll be a better idea of what you got.
Yeah, before you go, Gage, what I see is that I think that Nurse and CC have been playing a little bit more passive in their own zone and kind of watching. I think you got to go out and squeeze. Darnay and Kulak do a pretty good job. Kulak's such a good skater. He moves in those spaces pretty easily. And then you got Darnay, who's just like a massive man. So they take away more time and space. And I do think that I get you want to protect the middle of the ice and all that, but you can't also just back away and give teams tons of time. So, Gager, we are looking ahead to Tuesday. Would you continue having these pairings as they are, with Nurse with Darnay and then CC with Kulak? Did you see something you liked? Or is like a kind of message sent, let's send them back to where they have been for, forever?
I think I want to see it again, just because looking at, like you said, I think Darnay has made like monstrous strides with his game this season. He almost at certain times he is defending more with his feet. He seems a little bit quicker, fleet of foot. I think when he got exposed a little bit in the playoffs last year with the speed of the water bugness of the LA Kings, some of those forwards, like they were abusing him down low. You see him being able to use his feet and body a lot better. That comes with experience too. But yeah, I think Brownie hit it on the head with trying to see what you have in different combinations if someone were to get moved out, right? In my mind, I don't like them moving any one of these guys at the moment. I think it just disrupts the chemistry that has been built. Struddy, you could talk to just have the relationships between defensemen and your D partners, how that bond strengthens over the year, playing with the same guys over and over again. Sometimes I love what Brownie says at the trade deadline, that only one team gets it right, and chemistry is a fragile thing. You want to make sure that I would rather see the Oilers bring in a veteran defenseman, preferably right shot, that you can plug and play at that point. But maybe it's I could see them kind of tinkering to see, because they probably have someone in mind that they think they might be able to grab by the end of the week.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And for those wondering, the trade deadline is Friday. So what happens between now and then? 1, 2, 3, 4 trades? How many are you thinking? Well, we'll keep that open as we work through the week, but it feels like we're going to see some action for sure. Guys, I want to go back.
But just to speak of the trade deadline, it just brought a memory. I remember we went on the road right before the trade deadline like this. Did you? Brian Marchment brought like every suitcase he owned on the trip. Did you guys ever like go on the road with like extra stuff just in case?
I only had one really nice suit, so no, I just had the same nice one. But I brought 3 toothbrushes. Brownie?
He was untradeable.
Well,
Forget it.
I've been traded a couple times, and I was traded well before the deadline. I was traded at Christmas, and I don't remember the other time. I think it was before the deadline. But the thing about the deadline is we've been talking for a while about it. For fans and for media, hockey players are hockey cards. So we're trading hockey cards. I can move this guy here, move that guy there. And you don't really think of the impact that it has on the players, their families, their kids. In the dressing room, if 2 or 3 players leave, they're friends of the guys in the dressing room. So you could be losing your best friend. And when guys come in, all of a sudden, players that have been here all year long or for a couple of years, they might lose their spot on a line. They might lose their spot in the lineup. So it's a tough time. There's about 5-6 players on the Edmonton Oilers where the deadline means nothing to them because they are that set. Everyone else in that dressing room will be affected by a trade, whether it's losing a friend, losing a spot, or possibly being moved out. This is a stressful time for most of that dressing room going on this road trip, not knowing how it's going to affect them come Friday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This next week is going to be fascinating. We'll keep you up to date with all the news and our breakdowns as we move through it. Let's just take a quick step back, bigger picture. As I mentioned, the Oilers win 6-1. They're now 3 points up on Vegas with 2 games at hand, and they're 9 points back of Vancouver with 4 games at hand. Let's listen to go back to their Weiss Johnson inbox, and we'll listen to a discussion with defenseman Brett Kulak and his thoughts on what has kind of stabilized or changed the last 4 games winning streak.
Yeah, you feel it in the room. You quickly fall back on, you start feeling what works for us, and that's just keep pucks moving forward and spend time in the offensive zone.
I love that. Now that's a very basic way of looking at it. But Brownie, I like it. I think at times when the Oilers are struggling or maybe not playing their best, they're a little bit too east-west, not just with the skating, but more the passing. Get the puck up into the O zone and then ground and pound. How many times tonight did we see that puck get into offensive zone? The Oilers had it, either carried in or recovered it, and then they used their D-men, and the D-men were just teeing off from the blue line and pressure and pucks to the front of the net. And I know as a defenseman, that really kind of makes you get on roller skates, not so much me, but my partner. So, is that too simplistic of you by, I guess 2 D-men, myself and Kulak?
Well, no, I think that at all parts of the ice, I think the Oilers are much better when they're simplified. In their own zone, if the Penguins are in the offensive zone and the puck gets turned over, if you're an Oiler defenseman, right away you want that puck going north. Right away, because now you've trapped the Penguin forwards. So now get going north, and if everyone knows that as soon as there's a turnover, you're going north, everybody gets on their horses and gets prepared for a pass. In the offensive zone, as soon as if there's a turnover, take it towards the net. And if everyone knows if a turnover, it's going towards the net, that's where they're going to hang out. So if a defenseman, puck comes back to him, D-man's going on net, everyone's going there and crowding the front of the net. So simple is better. When you start going east-west, players start swinging, and then they don't get the puck. Now they got to swing back. Now they're out of position. Now you've lost your speed. And what you've lost, the biggest part is you've lost the moment of surprise when you're going against the other team. Now you're allowing them to set up. The Oilers have done a good job of quickly getting it into the hands of their forwards. The Oilers, they're fast up front, and they've got skill up front. Get the puck into their hands as quick as they can so they can take advantage of any odd man breaks they can get.
And I guess as a goalie, Gagers, to build off my comment about, pounding it down low than using your D, I'm guessing you'd rather have maybe more of a point blank shot where you can see it rather than it funneling through multiple bodies. A point shot, or am I kind of off? Which way would you prefer?
Well, especially with where the puck usually started on the wall down low and going from low to high gives guys a chance to establish a net front presence or,
right.
Those moving screens. Those are awful. Like the peekaboo shots, and Oilers D, like Cece was hammering the puck tonight.
Yeah, he was.
It was great. No, I hated those situations. Again, you have guys coming to the net. You're worried about rebounds, second chance opportunities. Things aren't going with you well for you anyways. Very masterful game by the Oilers in the offensive zone. There weren't many, even all over the game on the boards. I found that the Oilers didn't lose too many of those battles, right? When the puck went into the corner, it was an Oiler coming out with it and making, like you mentioned, especially in the D zone, that first pass, it's like a quarterback dropping back, like 3 seconds, the ball's out of their hands, right? It was quick. It was quick thinking, which when the Oilers play with speed like that, they're a hard team to play against.
No doubt about it. All right. Well, this is the part of the show where we're going to have to let Brownie go. Brownie, which let's all just give him 2 claps in the boo. He's now into his 9th week starting tomorrow of 7 minutes a day workout. It's a new thing. And it's Brownie, don't beat yourself up. Most people do 7-minute abs. Barney does 7-minute total body workout. 9th week. Congratulations. 2 claps on the boo.
I was at Tabata this morning with the other housewives of St. Albert. I did a hell of a job for my 45 minutes. I'm a very popular person in my Tabata class. So thank you very much for the shout out.
He means chai bata. It's a sandwich that he was eating.
Yeah. Okay, go get some rest. Sounds like you're bagged. Thanks, Brownie.
Bye-bye.
That was takeaways. Let's now take a quick pause. When we come back, Struddy's World without Brownie, finally.
Time to talk about your mortgage? It doesn't have to be a daunting conversation. With over 16 years in the industry, Maria Gallus with Maximum Mortgages knows how to make it easy. With access to dozens of different lenders, let Maria customize the perfect solution for you. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or renewing, or a first-time buyer, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you feeling confident you're in great hands, making informed decisions. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
Longshots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Hey folks, welcome back. Zuby here. I get to tell you that it's time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by our newest sponsor, Shipwreck Rum. The Brindley family has been handcrafting their rum on the Caribbean island of St. Kitts for decades now. Their Shipwreck Vanilla is blended with natural Madagascar vanilla, which gives it an incredible smoothness. Take one sip and you'll agree it truly is a vacation in a bottle. Get Shipwrecked, Oilers fans. Available at your local liquor retailer. Please enjoy responsibly. And before we get to Struddy's World, Struds, I'm not sure we've run the commercial yet, but that phrase, local liquor retailer, gave you some trouble when we were doing the people watching at home, try local liquor retailer 5 times fast. See if you could say it. It's a mouthful.
Gave me trouble would be an upgrade on what I did. I butchered it. In fact, I think they had to change the line. That's why they haven't run it yet. It's absolutely, I was so bad at that. It's unreal that I'm actually in the media.
All right, buddy,
okay.
lay it on us.
This is not a fun one tonight. This is all business. Now that Chager's not here, I got to take this seriously. Jake Guentzel is obviously a very good player, and he's been a good player for a long time. I think he's around 28 years old. He's won Stanley Cups. He scored a lot of goals. This year he's the second leading scorer for the Penguins after Sidney Crosby, and he has a decision to make, along with obviously the Penguins, but, does he want to commit to staying there and sign an extension? If so, is it a 6, 7, 8 year, whatever it is, the extension? Or does he say, I'll go, you can trade me, get some assets back, and I'll probably sign somewhere else next year. But let's just look at the facts. This team, the sun is starting to set on this team. I still love Sid, Malkin, Letang, all these guys, but let's look at this. Sidney Crosby, 36 years old, has 1 year on his deal after this. Malkin, 37 years old, 2 years on his deals after this. Erik Karlsson, 33, 3 years on his deals after this. Chris Letang, 36, 4 years on his contract after this. These guys are all starting to age out. Now, I do believe that Sidney Crosby will finish his career as a Penguin. So next year plays a 37-year-old. Does he get over 40? Another 3-4 years, maybe? And I don't even care about the money, but he's going to, if he stays at the level he is at, that's amazing, but it'll be more difficult. We're starting to see it come down on Malkin. Letang is nearing 40. It's going to start coming down. So if you're Guentzel, let's assume they're offering him an 8-year contract, just to make this an interesting debate. Do you sign on for 8 years, knowing that the first 3 or 4 years are going to be maybe okay, or might get a little bit better than it is right now? And then the last 4 years, when guys like Sid, Malkin, Letang, even Karlsson all leave, and you're now there for 4 more years, just rotting in this rebuild. And it will be a rebuild. That's just the way it is. And probably have a contract. Maybe they don't want to move because the number's too high. Like, I think this is a really interesting time, not even for the Penguins, but for Guentzel to decide what his next, again, I'm guessing at your deal, but maybe it's 6 to 8 years, whatever it is. So Gage, it's not that clear cut. I think he has to decide what his future is prior to the Penguins making their decision on their side.
Yeah, that's a great point, Struddy. The thing I factor in is he's won cups, though, so yeah. Of course you always want to you want to keep winning. I think the fact that he's won in Pittsburgh, there is a little bit of loyalty there, and maybe becoming the elder statesman of the team too. I could see him wearing a C at some point too, when so like Sid goes away, like this is depending, like he's a great hockey player. I think he's an important piece to the puzzle of any winning team to have a player of his caliber. I guess it really comes down to how much he likes Pittsburgh, and really how much input has the organization given him. He probably doesn't want to go through a whole rebuild, and how quickly is this rebuild going to take at this time? Because like you said, you still have these guys on long-term contracts. That's going to affect who you can bring in as to try to possibly rebuild on the fly. You said it. I don't think Sidney's going anywhere. I mean, there's probably a big reevaluation after his deal's done if he's going to decide, does he want to play a little bit more, or is the fire still there to win? And because it's probably not going to be in Pittsburgh, So, I could see him staying. Straight, to tell you the truth, okay. I just think because he's won there, possibly winning, going through that whole thing with. Look at your picture back there with Mark Messier, right? When Wayne left, they thought the Oilers were done. If he could actually be part of a team that brought a Stanley Cup after those guys left, that's immortality, baby.
I knew you'd say that because you're the type of person that goes to the party and you're always the last guy to leave. Just no sense of what's going on and timing. And so you're trying to push Jake Guentzel into that same world where, like, you know what, buddy, stay. It'll be fine. It'll still be fun when everyone's gone. It'll just be you and me, 4:30 in the morning, watching reruns of Facts of Life, trying to have that last sip of rum to get it down.
That's shipwreck rum.
That's right. It's a ship. Now that's the best part of you still being in my house. But when you look at it, I'm going to give an example. Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane. Do you think those two guys enjoyed their last year or two in Chicago? Because I think it'll be very similar for Malkin or Sid or Guentzel in this case, watching the team kind of, there's tax to be paid when you keep going for it year after year, right? You don't reinforce your group. So I honestly am fascinated. I think if he's not traded, he's re-signing. He's just like you said, he's committing to be the last guy at the party. But if he goes, man, I think he's gone. And I think he's looking somewhere else, a new opportunity. But it's hard to leave I'm guessing they're really good friends, he and Sid.
Yeah, and you got a real comfortable couch, so I'm staying there till at least 5 o'clock. But no, I think it's different with Kane and Toews because their contracts didn't allow movement.
Good point.
So that. I'm sure if things were a little bit different, they made, what was it, 10 million they were making over that course. So, I mean, if it's a few million lower, probably could have done something with them more at that time. But I don't think it was possible to trade them at that point, Struddy.
Yeah, fair point. All right. That was Struddy's world. Let's check out here. When we come back, we're going to get into Take a Lap. A goalie again. There's a lot of goalie, a little too heavy on the goalie talk for me, but we'll allow it because of our special guest, Joaquin Gage.
Winter is upon us, so why not make the best of it? Marmot Basin Ski Resort is where it's at. Ski half price every day, no blackout periods. Pick up your escape card for $99 and make winter fun more affordable. Half the price, all the powder. Get yours at www.skimarmot.com.
The Edmonton Sport and Social Club's spring season is set to go in May, and registration is just around the corner. Team up with your pals to play in slow pitch, beach volleyball, outdoor soccer, ultimate frisbee, and even cornhole leagues to keep the spring months full of excitement. Spring leagues begin in May. Registration opens on February 8th. Visit edmontonsportsclub.com for more details.
Let's do this. Time for Take a Lap, brought to you by Backscape. Bid farewell to unwanted back hair solo in just 5 minutes with fastest growing male grooming tool on the planet. With Basket's water-resistant and rechargeable long-handled shave stick, you can shave independently in any direction with no cuts, scrapes, bumps, or mess. That's -2 now for me. Visit Backscape.com. That's BAKscape.com and choose from a variety of packages delivered right to your door. Stay smooth, gentlemen, or at least smoother than that read was. God, -2.
It's all right. It's all right.
Tough one. All right, let's start with the first one, the goalie signing. Jonathan Quick, who I felt after being traded from the Kings to Vegas last year was nearing or at the end of his career. Well, the local, I think he's from Connecticut or right around New York. He signs with the New York,
I believe.
Joins New York Rangers, and he's had a phenomenal year. So he was rewarded with another contract. I think it was like 1.2 million, somewhere in there. And it was a very reasonable contract for a guy who's had a great year, obviously enjoying his time playing the Big Apple close to home. And I love this story, and I love being proved wrong. I was wrong about him. I was wrong about Corey Perry. I was also wrong about some relationships that maybe happen in the world of famous people, but here I am still alive. So, Gager, what has Quick done, or how has he managed this transition from what felt like a guy who was done till now a contributing member as a backup?
I think the number one thing is health, Struddy. He's been injured those last few years. He was out of the lineup a lot with the Kings, and gosh, the style that he plays, like the way his movement is very unique. I don't think there's another NHL goaltender that moves around the net like he does, and that's got to put a lot of strain on the hips, knees, things like that. I really think it for the first time in a long time he's felt healthy. I remember that the Doug Waite and Charlie Huddy retirement or Hall of Fame game when he played, although the Rangers completely dominated, he made some unbelievable saves in that game where he almost looks like a cobra. I call it the cobra because I don't know how he lays down and he somehow has his chest straight up like a cobra does and blocking shots. So I'm happy. I loved those Kings teams. I thought when Jonathan Quick won that Conn Smythe, I was amazed at his play. It was just like the old days with Fear. Maybe you'd get one on him, but then it got to the point where you knew the other team wasn't scoring, and he was just phenomenal. For him to, I think that kind of relationship too, right? He's older guy, can mentor the young stud coming up, get him some rest when he needs to, have for Pete Laviolette to have the confidence and throwing both guys in too. That's huge. I mean, if you look all over the league, I'd put Skinner and Pickard actually up there too now with consistency of goaltending, but you got to lean to Shesterkin and Quick to being kind of the best duo in the league right now.
Yeah, they're looking really strong. There's no doubt. A great story there for the New York Rangers and the big man. Number 2, this happened Saturday, but I think it's important for Oilers fans because sometimes it gets lost on the weekend. Elias Pettersson signed an 8-year extension, $11.6 million a year with the Vancouver Canucks. He'd wanted to wait till after the season, gets it done now. And this is important because I think it kind of just more of these contracts start setting the bar for when 29 and 97 come up here with the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not suggesting they'll be around this number, but I think it does kind of push the bar now with Nylander set up there as well. Austin Matthews set up around that number. So notable for me that the Canucks have this deal done now rather than before the end of the season, especially with some trade wins perhaps blowing around him. I don't know how much there was actually fact to that, though.
I mean, if you're looking from an Oilers standpoint with Connor and Leon, Struddy, does if they go all the way and win the Cup this year, does that affect the way that they continue on with the Edmonton Oilers, or what that final number looks like if they win? Or what if they go to the finals, lose lose conference finals? Does that change the number in any way, shape, or form that, they still have a pretty good core of guys here to take a few runs at it? Would there be some sort of a haircut in place, right? Like already Connor's done it once a little bit.
Right.
I mean, Leon, when he signed that deal way back when, everyone thought it was ridiculous. Now it's it's
It was.
the best. The Oilers have two of the best contracts
They do.
in the NHL with Hyman and Leon right now. So Leon's going to want to get paid. I hear the property taxes in Mallorca are ridiculous. So he's going to need a few extra zeros beside that final number, I think.
Crazy. Well, good for the Canucks. They're having a great year, and they get their big guy locked up. All right, we've got a new feature here we're going to try out tonight. It is from Ryan Reed. He's a student at Grant Mac University, and it is called In the System. He's going to let you know about a player in the system and how it's going, so we kind of get to know some of these players that we don't see underneath the bright lights of Rogers.
The Bakersfield Condors have been playing well, winning 4 of their last 6 games. They sit 7th in the Pacific Division and are poised to make a playoff push with 22 games remaining. Offensively, Seth Griffith is leading the way with 41 points in 46 games. Jack Campbell allowed 4 goals on 30 shots Saturday in a 4-2 loss to the Abbotsford Canucks, but previous to that had put up a .921 save percentage over his previous 3 starts, including a 39-save win against the Roadrunners Wednesday. Olivier Rodrigue, meanwhile, is 12th in the AHL, with a .918 save percentage. Meanwhile, Philip Broberg is back skating with the Condors, who could play as early as Monday, according to Tony Brar of Oilers TV. He's been out of the lineup since February 10th. Broberg has 1 goal and 18 assists in 29 games. Raphael Lavoie has been heating up with 4 goals in his last 5 games, including the game winner last Friday against Tucson. Lavoie has 20 goals and 14 assists in 44 games and is on pace for his best HL season yet. Xavier Bourgault is on pace for just 24 points this campaign, which would fall short of last year's 34. Bourgault recorded his 7th goal of the season on Wednesday to give him a total of 17 points on the year. In the college ranks, Matt Capani, a 7th-round pick of the Oilers in 2023 draft, has quietly been a point-per-game player at the NCAA level for Merrimack College, including 8 assists in his last 10 games. I'm Ryan Reed, and that is what's happening in the system.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has been delivering a high-quality golf experience to Edmonton and area. This beautiful private club, located on Highway 21 just south of Sherwood Park, occupies 160 acres and presents a challenging yet adventurous 18-hole design. A beautiful clubhouse, fully stocked pro shop, and warm, friendly staff truly make it feel like you belong to something unique and special. Visit www.belvederegcc.com.
Welcome back, folks. This is me. I'm going to do my own ad read here. We're going to do Ask Us Anything, which is, of course, brought to you by Match Eatery and Public House. If you've only got time for one before the game, make it a frosty 25-ounce one at Match Ice District. Enjoy these supersized steins on select beers. Match Eatery and Public House is located adjacent to Rogers Place in the Grand Villa Casino, Edmonton. For more info, please visit matchpub.com. All right. Let's get to it. I have to multitask here, though, so let me just switch my brain for 1 second and try to remember which Ask Us Anything I was going to go to first. David Souping said, honestly, it would take a fair amount of effort to find something substantial to criticize in this one, other than maybe Connor Brown's continued invisibility syndrome, as he put it. I think you guys have done that. I don't think we went too hard on anything in here. There's one other comment. Bob's Your Uncle said, basically his thought is at this point where the Oilers have worked themselves into, his idea is he would put Connor Brown in a top 6 role until he scored, no matter what, to break the goose egg and get him over that hump at all costs. What do you guys think about that idea, Struds?
So I guess the guy would be coming out as Janmark. Because the lines as they're made up, they seem to be working. I don't know, man. That's a tough sell. He has a couple games where he has chances. I'm going to say no. I'm just going to say flat out no. And I've been advocating for him all year. But I can't at this point. I'm not sure I could commit to that, Gager.
No, I don't think it's happening. Maybe I always loved when playoffs started, and usually the coach said, "You know what happened during the regular season doesn't matter anymore. Everyone's at zero." And Connor Brown's already there, right? So he can start fresh from that point and feel like he's included with everyone else. I like the line he was on. Actually, I thought there might be something there with Gagne. So maybe it happens just where he's at.
Okay, let's talk about Gagne because his name came up a fair bit as well. Obelisk said, I thought Gagne provided some very good depth as the extra forward. He came in and was strong in all zones. The coach talked about him after too, and after the game as well, and talked about the offensive chances he created with, pretty limited minutes in the first. Gager, what do you think about Gagne being back in? Do you want him to see more of him?
Definitely. The play doesn't die on Sam's stick. I feel that he just provides with those two guys. Sam's a very skilled hockey player, thinks the game at a very high level. I thought he was continuing plays and providing some extra chances with his line mates. I thought he had a great game tonight. I wouldn't want to move him right now unless if he's good to go. I keep him right where he's at because he's very effective. They've been talking about a little bit more, scoring prowess. I know they didn't have any, but he created some chances with those guys. I think it's good to have some speed with him and he can kind of read off it. But just having a guy that's, has played in the top six before, somewhat like Perry, has that experience. I think that can go a long way with a young guy like Holloway, and hopefully help Brown get off the O train.
He makes plays. He makes offensive plays, and he's a playmaker. Like that's what he does. He's always been smart and delivered pucks to where they need him. And no matter, he could be on the 12th line. He's always thinking he's going to score. That's who Sam is. And I played with him. I love the guy. And that's just, he thinks every line he's on should score. And I love that. I love that mentality. And that needs to be rubbed off, as you just said, off on Connor Brown and Holloway. So that line was good tonight. Again, everyone looked good. I think that depends, except everyone in a Penguins uniform. But I love that offensive attitude, almost / swagger, that Sam Gagne brings to a line. It's great.
If that clapper would have went in, I would have got out of my seat.
Oh,
like that was great. That was awesome.
Bombs.
Shane Matheson, friend of the show. I should point out, I don't think he's got it anymore. Shane used to have Shane won Gem of the Day one night, and he had that in his Twitter bio, like right in the top lane. Yeah. Gem of the night. Shane said, Struddy on TV tonight, host in the host chair for this one. Big payday today. Root beer floats for everyone. That was from Shane Matheson.
Yeah. That might get you the Gem of the Day again, buddy.
He'll be the first ever, other than you calling your own number, Struds, he'll be the first ever multiple winner. Stephen Petrick said, honestly, thank God the Oilers did not trade for Erik Karlsson. It's kind of revisionist history, but just think about that in terms of, we wouldn't know what assets were going out, but would you see a fit for him on this team? Or do you think that turned out to be the right move not to get him, Struds?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a talented player. The cap hit is massive. And it was a huge mistake for Pittsburgh, not because of him, but because they already had a good right shot defenseman named Chris Letang that was sitting there. And we saw it in San Jose. Burns and Karlsson, you don't need two stud right shot defensemen. It just doesn't work. So yeah, I don't think the way Bouchard's evolved, I think he would have been hindered by that, because guess who'd be working PP1? It'd be old EK65. So Bouchard wouldn't have grown. He wouldn't have got to this point. And you need to give space for your young studs to grow. So I'm glad they didn't make it, because Bouchard has blossomed into what I'm sure the organization was hoping he would, Gager.
Yeah, no, I don't think, I didn't like the match from the beginning. Just on the defensive side, like Karlsson's a little bit of the riverboat gambler, right? I mean, he has
bit.
he is the riverboat gambler. Yeah. Like he sees his goalie before the game and says see you after, right? Like it's it's great. So no, I mean, there was I just thought with the progression of what we saw with Bouchard, he was fitting into that role, I think, a lot better than Carlson, especially like you mentioned, Struddy with that cap hit.
ADN says, if our goalies can play the way they've played the last 2 games, the Oilers will be a very dangerous team in the playoffs. I guess that goes without saying. You get good goaltending, you're going to be good. But we didn't do a pod last night, so I wondered if you guys wanted to say anything about Stu Skinner's game from last night, especially those 3 saves he made in the final minute, 2 of which were like, I mean, 5 bell, whatever you want to call them, incredible saves. What did you guys think of Skinner putting up the wall in the last minute there yesterday, Struds?
Well, this is Gager's world. I'm not going to... Gager, you take this one.
God, it was... Yeah, well, it was even the first 3 saves of the game, too.
Yeah.
Right? It was dialed in. You know, and I'm on the... Now, Stuart Skinner's played so well now. Like, I'm tired of saying how good he is. He's a normal NHL goalie. That's how you're supposed to play. You go into a hostile environment, a team that's scratching and clawing to try to get into the playoffs. Your team's not all there in that first 10 minutes. You got to provide good goaltending and keep your team in it. He's doing exactly what Oilers fans have been asking their goalies to do for I don't know, 6-7 years now, right? Providing that solid foundational goaltending, giving your team confidence. But now it's to the point where I just expect it. Like, I know it's only his second year, but I'm treating this guy like he's 5-6 years in now with the play he's been able to do. So unbelievable game. Stuart Skinner, when he plays, he should be in consideration of one of the 3 stars because that's how good he's been playing. And the play of Calvin Pickard is great. So it gives you that confidence if something does happen that you can put the other guy in. So what a great weekend for the Oilers goaltending. I don't want to hear anything else. And I think we already heard Holland say that no, goaltending is not one of the things that we're looking at for this trade deadline, which commends Pickard wholeheartedly because it couldn't have been easy. Hearing for months that the Oilers were looking for a more experienced backup, I guess.
Zuby, one more, buddy.
Let's do. I got 2 quick ones. We'll try to be quick. I got 2 more. Chris R said, going back to Calgary last night, does something like the Kipper retirement ceremony really have a big effect on a team, positive or negative, home or away, like whoever's team that is? Have you guys ever played in a game where there was one of those ceremonies? And what was your takeaway from it, Struds?
Yeah, I've done a few actually. It was Gretzky, Anderson. Not Gretzky, Messier in New York, and then Glenn Anderson here, and I think there was a couple others. But yeah, it's pretty damn cool. And you see the highlights of the guys' glory days and stuff, and it gets you motivated. And so I really enjoy being a part of them. Usually there's a bit of a dinner or drinks session after, and you get to see all the guys, and I really like it. I always felt I wanted to play a little bit harder when it was happening.
No, I didn't like him. I just wanted the game to start, really.
Okay, this is just kind of from me. This is something I wanted to bring up. Chris Knobloch said tonight that he's talking to Ken Holland at least once a day right now. 1 to 2, you said often 1 to 2 times per day or more. So we think about going back to the D pairing shuffle again. And Knobloch said just to try something different and look at injury and stuff like that. He's Knobloch seems to be a very honest guy. Do you completely believe him, or do you think he has some inkling one way or another that his D pairings are going to change or who's available to him is going to change in the next week? Gager?
Well, we've all seen Moneyball, and I think this is Billy Beane talking to the manager of the A's. I forget who played him, but and saying Pena's not playing first anymore. Basically, this is what's happening. And I think this is the GM kind of saying, hey, let's put this together to see what we got because we've got something on the burner here. So by all accounts, I think they're looking at something. We'll see what happens by Friday.
Yeah, you know what? He's been pretty truthful, Knobloch. Everything he says seems to it's just very honest. So I take him at his word. But I'm with Gager. I think there's going to be some kind of a change here before Friday. I'm not sure it'll be in the top 4, but maybe it'll be something that comes up, maybe a 7th defenseman or bottom 6. I'm not, it's going to be difficult. I'm really looking forward to what's happening. All right, Zuby, thanks for that, buddy. Let's get to our gem of the day. And I'm going to call this one. I'm not calling my own number. I'm actually calling our good friend Rob Brown, who said that he did was it a ciabatta bread class this morning of yoga? What was it again? You guys, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, the ciabatta bread with housewives from St. Albert. That's,
so he's up to 100 minutes of working out since January 1st. So congrats to our good buddy who's getting healthy. Gager, I love having you on. It's a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us today, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Always a pleasure. Have a great night.
Likewise, and Zuby, only a couple of mistakes by me, and hopefully Shagar won't hear those. Shagar will be back here pretty soon as we continue a bunch of the Game Tuesday. Boston, in Boston, earlier one, so look for an earlier pod as well. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Check on our socials to get the details of what's coming up. Did I miss anything, Zuby?
I don't think so. We didn't do a kin print anything, but they have, of course. They're up there right now. They get their logo off the top, and we didn't do Rob Brown's appearances, but we couldn't see Rob Brown either. He was in a car, so we know we love kin print.
We love kin print and the best hats. I'm wearing my hat all the time.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm still waiting to get mine in the mail. It's I guess the mail, snail mail's a little slow. I guess it's
getting over the mountains is hard.
Yeah.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You can check it all on our socials for all the info. Talk to you guys most likely Tuesday post game.